everybody, and welcome to Monterey and the Superbike Speed Fest at Monterey for MotoAmerica, as we are set for an afternoon full of racing here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Great view there of the newly announced and dedicated Mission Start-Finish Bridge, and leads us nicely into the Mission Foods Roland Sands Design Super Hooligan race that's coming up. And I'm Greg Kramer, joined by Roland Sands, and I gotta ask you, man, this thing has just blown up, folks. Roland, huge entry here, so big it had to be split into two different categories here. Huge success for this series, and it's relatively new.
Yeah, we're pretty happy. I mean, the first time we raced here was 3 years ago, and it's just been building and building. We had a really good first race here, our inaugural race, and guys went really quick. You know, we started getting all the bikes working really well, and now we have a large group of guys, nearly 50 guys. Coming out to qualify for the main at Laguna Seca. You know, not everybody got to make the main, so we created a B main to let the guys who aren't going to get to race both races be able to race one race on Sunday. So at least they didn't have to put it in the trailer. You know, you put all this effort and energy into come out here, you want to race your bike. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And it's great to see huge crowd turnout here as well. I mean, obviously all kinds of things for them to do, but I mean, look at that grid area. Look at this paddock. Mike on the mic. It was tough for him to move around all the people looking for autographs. So this place is lit. But we want to take a look now at some highlights from our most recent Super Hooligans race, and it was one that had a lot of interesting intrigue and drama to it. But from the off, Andy DeBrino was on pole, but it didn't last too long. He led for a little bit here, but then the first big move came as a nice outside move by Tyler right around the outside, and Andy was working to stay with him, but you could hear Jeremy almost like the Jaws music. He was coming.
Yeah, Jeremy, like we spoke about yesterday, I mean, he's got a lot of work to do to be able to put himself back in the lead, you know, and this was the pass on Andy in race one, and he went on to win the second race and then was disqualified for too low of a handlebar, and you know, it pissed him off, frankly.
I'm sure it did.
You know, I think we saw that yesterday in qualifying. We saw Jeremy. Yeah.
And he made this great move. Just almost stood him up there, and that was in that tricky enough turn 11. But here into that turn 13, look at that. Just got to the inside. Nothing Tyler could do. Nice off-roading for him to hang on to it. But Jeremy came through, got that win. He'd wanted so badly, and then he didn't.
And then he didn't.
Yeah, and and he took it out on this field in qualifying yesterday. You could just see that he was not going to be denied. He's wanted this for so long, and he's going to go after it today, I think, with an absolute vengeance here, and why not? Here's the current points coming in. Tyler leads it by 19 over Jeremy. DeBrino only 2 more back. Bobby Fong not that far back. Corey West there because he got promoted up as well. He and DeBrino moved up, and so Tyler's still got that little margin out there, but behind him, man, it is tight.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bobby won't be racing this weekend on the Hooligan bike. He chose to focus on Superbike and Bagger, but we got Larry Pegram riding our bike in his place, which, you know, whenever the worm comes out, he's always going to bring some excitement, and he qualified 4th today.
Yeah, he had an absolutely great jumping on the bike and getting after it here. There's also the championship within a championship, the Air-Cooled American V-Twin Challenge, and Hawk Mazzata leading that one fairly comfortably over Charlie Condit right now, and then Michael Smith, Brandon Quaid, and John Trujillo round out the top 5. And Hawk has been really quick on that bike here, really wheeling it around here, and I think he's looking forward to a good race when he gets a shot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Lloyd's built the motor in that bike, and we ended up building the chassis, but I think he's really shown how the Indian Chief can get it done around a place like Laguna Seca. I mean, that's a cruiser, you know? I mean, it's cool. It's absolutely a 600-plus pound, 700-plus pound motorcycle from the factory.
Yep.
And, you know, trim a bunch of weight off of it and bring it out here and go road racing.
He puts those elbows up and gets after it here. Speaking of getting after it, we got a very busy guy down in the pits. He's had a busy Mike on the mic, and now he's down there covering. Looks a little breezy down there from some of the shots we're seeing, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down here just on the side of the grid. We're not actually allowed on the grid because this is a quick start procedure. Tyler O'Hara's umbrella just actually inverting, and well, that's actually now just snapped in half. So the umbrella's been put away. You guys are absolutely right. It is very, very breezy down here. Was just actually catching up with Jill McWilliams, obviously Jeremy's wife. I tell you what, he is showing no signs of slowing down. He wants redemption after the ridge, and he wants this win. Debrino in the middle of the front row of the grid. We can also see a couple of the riders a bit further back. Keep your eyes on the 137 because the acceleration from this Petronas Iona Energica machine is pretty remarkable. And Stefano Mesa, who is starting on the second row of the grid, just actually in front of me right now. This bike looks amazing, and do not be surprised to see him challenging for the leaderboard positions as they head down towards turn 1. Quite a lot of fans in the grandstands looking over the start line. 2 Indians and a KTM on the front row of the grid. And then we have an Indian, a Harley, and the Energica on row number 2. So many different types of motorcycles and brands of motorcycles. The air-cooled bikes as well. Be interesting to see how Jesse Davis, the top qualifier from the second group, goes. He could be knocking on the door of a few points here, and this is a full grid. In fact, right the way as far as the eye can see, pretty much right down towards the back of the grid. You can hear the bikes as they set off on the warm-up lap. You can hear the noise down here. It's absolutely brilliant as the bikes. Let's head back to the break.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Roland Sands Design, built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com.
All right, some beautiful shots of the Monterey area, and now some great shots of this track. Let's take a look at the track map quickly. 11 turns, 2.238 miles. Big elevation change from turn 5 up to the top of the Corkscrew and then coming right back down that hill again, and brand new pavement. I mean, they're throwing a lot at these guys this weekend.
Yeah, I love this track. It's the first track I ever won an AMA National on back in 1998, and I just have so many memories of this place back from Grand Prix racing. Iconic.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. No question about it. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. It is a big one. 26 riders in this A main, if you will. The first of 2 for the A-class riders. Jeremy McWilliams on pole with a 129.298 and pretty good margin over Andy Debrino, almost a second clear of Andy on the KTM. Defending champion Tyler O'Hara in 3rd, Larry Pegram in the 4th spot. And then you take a look at Corey West and Stefano Mesa on the Energica. It's going to be fun to see his launch. AJ Peasley will start next up. Then it will be the number 5 of Kyle Onsorg and Mark Price. That's row 3. Row 4, Mallory Dobbs continuing a very impressive run. Hannah Johnson and Sean Creasap make up row number 4. Row number 5, Shalina Moreta. Jordan Eubanks, who had a great run in B-class qualifying. Just a great lap. Ryan Peterson, there's Hawk Mazzata, your leader in that air-cooled category. Chris Joffrey and Kenyon Kluge, another of the e-bikes. Danny Dominguez, Paul Mitchell, Brandon Quaid, and then Josh Nichols. Then in the 25th spot, it's Devin McLaughlin, and in 26, Jesse Davis, who came up through the B group qualifying and doing a nice job there as well. It's cool out there today. Yeah, we've got, it's sunny and the like, but temperatures ambient-wise are down, a little bit. You can see it right there, only 61 degrees. Who's going to be absolutely loving that is Stefano Mesa, because the colder it is, the more energy that bike has on reserve. But it's gusty. Look at those winds.
We saw a smoking start from Stefano Mesa last year. I think he led.
Yeah.
Off the start. He didn't lead much after turn 1, but, that bike is pretty competitive off the line, absolutely.
Look at that wind, and up at the Corkscrew and a couple other spots on this track. They're feeling that, no question, even on these bikes. All right, look for those red lights to come on. When they go out, as always, we're racing. We're green! Looked like a decent start by Jeremy McWilliams. Huge start by Pegram. It's like he's coming up way right. Look at that!
Stefano Mesa with the whole shot.
Man, it just uncorked as you would expect. And McWilliams trying to get down to the inside, couldn't quite get it done. And that looks like Tyler had a great start and is on his teammate's shoulder coming out of the exit of the Andretti hairpin. But Stefano Mesa leading. And man, you turn the throttle on that and it just leaps. Now the question is, how long can he hang on to this?
we're watching an electric motorcycle lead the ice bikes for the first time in Super Hooligan racing, or perhaps anywhere on the planet, with electric and gas motors.
Yeah, it was a great start, but there on the braking, down to the inside, Jeremy McWilliams picks up the lead. Mesa now into the second spot. Tyler O'Hara tucked in right there in that third spot. Is he going to take a look around? He's through. So Mesa now sits in that third spot, but still in all, as you said, leading the better part of half a lap here. Shows the progress that's happening there. Drops one more spot to Andy DeBrino into the corkscrew for the first time.
That was unexpected to see Mesa lead that many corners on the electric bike. You can see the ice bikes still have a little bit of horsepower on the electric bike, but just to see it out there and to see it working in the proton, that's great. We were seeing a lot of progress happen on the racetrack with the bike. Jeremy McWilliams is gonna do everything he can to keep his teammate behind him. We'll see how long he can keep him behind him. We all know Tyler is a Sunday man.
Yes, he is.
Know, when the race happens, Tyler's going to turn it up as he always does.
And McWilliams had a big margin in qualifying, but when it comes to the race, as you said, look at this. Tyler trying the outside move. McWilliams trying to keep it pinned down and does get the better exit out of the Andretti hairpin. Now setting up through turn 3, and now the big run up into turn 4. And Tyler getting a nice drive out of there, but McWilliams able to hang on to it, and they've gapped Andy just a little bit on the KTM as he slipped back in that third spot.
You know, Tyler was a second back in qualifying,
yeah.
So Jeremy's got a little bit more confidence out there. He's already been a little quicker. Last year's lap times were in the 29s, and I expect Tyler to be able to hang with Jeremy and probably turn some of those laps. It always helps when you got that carrot in front of you. He's not letting his teammate get anywhere.
No, not at all. Unfortunately, we just had a shot there, the 36 Mallory Dobbs on the Ducati Hypermotard down in turn 2. That's been a really tricky corner here. It's tricky all the time, but with this new pavement, even more so. And it's a shame. She qualified very, very well in the top 10. So she's got her work cut out for her now. But now we see Jeremy just eke out maybe a bike length or two here, but just that quick. Tyler closes it up as they drop through turn 10. And looking to the inside, too far back, but DeBrino's reeled them back in again, too.
Yeah, he's not too far away. I mean, you could see Tyler coming out of 10 really made up a little bit of gap on his teammate, but the KTM not that far back.
No. Easing away now just a little bit over Stefano Mesa, with Larry Pegram continuing to impress. First time swinging his leg. I think Larry may have just gone down the inside of Stefano Mesa into turn 2, and he got that pass made. So that puts now Stefano between Pegram and Corey West, who sits in that 6th spot, as once again heading up into turn 4. And with the repaving here, there's a lot that's been improved. Obviously, there are some ripples from apex out at 4, and now into arguably the most important turn. Maybe not the most iconic, but the most important turn on this track. We have a red flag. Red flag coming out, and somebody down over in turn 2. And obviously, it's easy to get off in that corner, and if somebody else gets to a spot over there and they can't get cleared out, somebody else could end up in that same spot. So always going to err on the side of safety, and that gives us a red flag. So it was, Larry got that pass made on Stefano before that red flag came out, so he should still be in that 4th spot here. But sometimes on a red flag, they'll go back to the previously completed lap, and that might have Larry still a spot behind Stefano.
Is that AJ Peasley?
I was trying to catch that number right there. He obviously
was AJ Peasley there.
He's shaken up just a little bit. So into the pits under the red flag scenario. That is what they do. See if we can suss out what happened here. All right, there he is. That's an awkward off.
Yeah, he looks like he got to the edge of the track, tagged the rear brake before he got on the gravel and saying high-sided him.
Yeah, we've got another look at it this way.
Oh, that's a good hit.
Yeah, that rocked him a little bit for sure.
You know, it's the occasional track nap.
Yeah.
Gonna remind you where you're at. He's out there floating in the astral plane, he looked like.
Yeah, he was a bit wobbly for sure, and you could hear. I love that these corner marshals that do such a great job, that are so connected here with MotoAmerica. The one trying to help him up, and the other one realizing he's not ready for that yet, and immediately said, just let him lay for a sec. And that's that great coordination, obviously. But red flag at this stage, and again, McWilliams was under pressure from O'Hara, DeBrino in third, Mesa, and then Larry Pegram. And we're getting word that the restart, when it happens, it will be a 5-lap race, and it will be the original grid, so the original starting lineup.
He's checking all his fingers and toes there. You can see him making sure he's all right.
And now getting ready to take the helmet off. And while we're under the red flag, let's check in with Michael Hill.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Riders now down into pit lane. As we said, they're now just being informed that it will be a 5-lap restart, original grids. Let's see if we can maybe get a word with Jeremy McWilliams, who was leading that race. Just taking a quick drink of water. And Jeremy, if we can just get a quick word. Obviously, red flag situation here. We're just being informed it will be a 5-lap restart, original grid positions. You were looking strong in that start. Was that the plan for you, just trying to lead it from the front?
Yeah, obviously, I've got a very fast teammate, and one of us is going to be leading it. So it's kind of trying to control without getting tripped up, and get the head down and maybe try to make a break. It's very, very difficult to make a break in this class. It's so even. At least the top three, the guys that are putting the effort in. The two manufacturers at the minute are pushing each other, so I'm just putting all into it, and I want to come away with a win. I'm desperate here to make amends for what was a rubbish decision at the Ridge, and we'll see how it goes.
Obviously, we could see you were very, very fast. Looked like in Sector 2, you maybe were able to gap Tyler just a couple of bike lengths through the corkscrew, and he was just closing you back in towards the end of the lap. So, bit of cat and mouse going on between you two.
Yeah, the bikes aren't identically set up, and obviously, they worked each to their strengths. And it's just that's a rider preference. We don't, we share the information, but we don't always use each other's information. And I just feel a bit more, certainly. That whole first sector to me feels a little bit better, and I'm struggling a little bit out of the corkscrew. Yeah, right. Yeah, and I know I need to make it better down there. Thanks for telling me.
I'd just like to keep an eye on these things, So let's get a quick word. Stay where you are. I'll go on the other side. Grab a quick word if we can with Tyler. As Jeremy said, he's always very complimentary about you in terms of the way that you're riding. Obviously, arguably his biggest competition here. You looked very strong down into turn 2. A couple of times looking on the outside. Is that a dress rehearsal of what we might see in this restart?
You never know. I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest and just let the race come to me. Hopefully this round get a little better start. But, this Indian S Cycle Progressive FTR 1200's running awesome. And you know what? We're just having fun out here, putting on a show for these fans. And, it's going to be a dogfight, and just let the race come to me. And five sprint laps. It should be entertaining for the fans. And, hats off to Jeremy. He's been taking me to school all weekend. And, I never stop learning. And, just keep getting better every session. So just out here having fun and just continue to learn, and ready to go race, man.
Okay, we'll let you get ready. We are just being told now 3 minutes to go. I just want to see if we can make it, Steve. How athletic are you feeling, buddy? Do you reckon we can make it as far as the Energica bike? Do you reckon we can try and grab a word with Stefano Mesa? It's going to take us probably, I would think, about 30 seconds to get there. We're going to have a little walk past Shalina Marida. She was well inside the top 10 on the number 93. She's on another one of the Ducati Hyper Motards. And sorry, Steve, I know I'm making you sprint down here. And let's just keep going. There is Shalina on the left-hand side. She's just talking to the Ducati team. And let's just see if we can make it up to Stefano Mesa, because as I said, in that sort of build-up to the race, keep your eyes on Stefano. And was not really a surprise for me that he was up in the top 3. Wasn't quite sure he was going to lead it. But here we are, Petronas Iona. We have made it up here. Let's get a quick word with Stefano. Stefano, just a couple of minutes to go to the restart. And as the guys in commentary said, history has been made. The first electric bike to lead one of these hooligan races anywhere on the planet. What an electric start, pardon the pun.
Yeah, definitely. It was a pretty killer start. I got a good hole off the start and just pretty much sent it down into the first corner and try to hang in there, So that's what we'll try and do right back again.
Excellent. We'll let you get ready. As I said, a little over a minute or so to go. In fact, less than 1.5 minutes to go. So I'm going to hand back up to the booth. I'm being asked to move out of the way, understandably, as the riders start to get ready. And obviously, this electric bike, not like a conventional motorcycle, so they have to unplug a few things and make a few adjustments with various buttons. So I don't want to get in the way. So with that, Roland and Greg, back to you. But this is going to be a cracker.
It is, and we're just getting some replays right now, Michael, of that start by Stefano Mesa. And man, that thing, it was like a shuttle launch coming off of that spot there. It just absolutely hooked up, and away he went, and just really did a stellar job. And obviously now race is shortened a little bit, nice and cool. Again, that means he's going to have more energy that he can expend in this, and maybe he'll be able to lead if he gets to the front a little bit longer this time.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering what screws they turn on those things, like
yeah.
What's the adjustments for the electrical system in order to figure out, hey, is it going to last the entire race? How much power can we put into the bike initially? Are we going to have to save some for the end of the race? Those things are all kind of a gray area to me.
Yeah.
It's things I want to know about, though. It's very interesting.
It's intriguing stuff, as we're just about probably 15 seconds away from them sending him out for a warm-up lap to get ready for this restart. Did have an opportunity to chat with a couple of the guys on that team at the Ridge, and they said it's in the area. They didn't want to give me specifics, but about 25 kilowatt hours of power that they can load in there. And he said, we've got it set so that we're only running at 80%. He said, we want to have that little buffer, so if on the last lap we've overspent, we can at least complete it. But he's going to have there's a dash there for him, and it shows energy usage, and they can plug in, the data for how long that, the race is going to be and where he needs to be. And so sometimes, and as they brake, they're harvesting energy, back into the battery as well. So there's little things you can do. But, the shorter the race distance, obviously, the more energy you can just let loose here. And again, these cool conditions. Electricity means heat, and when it's hot out, battery drain is huge. When it's cool like this, it's just that's why you put your batteries in the fridge sometimes to make them last a little bit longer. But here's another look at the start, and Stefano absolutely stonking off the line here and leading down into turn one. And Tyler O'Hara got a really good start too, and took a shot at it. It didn't get there, but then you can see Jeremy sneaking through on Stefano. Then Tyler got through, and you can see Andy DeBrino able to slide through as they dip into the corkscrew here and work their way down the hill. But these two, a big moment there. And then the first off, that was Mallory Dobbs. But that was a huge save coming out of turn two. And then here was the off that caused the red flag. And it was just an awkward off that really gave him a nasty, nasty ride. And they had no choice but to throw that red flag. So we're getting a report now that the field might be ducking back into pit lane. There might be an air fence. This is just speculation we're hearing, monitoring some things here, that there might be an air fence that is either out of position, needs to be reinflated, something like that. Don't know that's absolutely the case, but yeah, you can see some of the well, you know what, this gives me a nice opportunity to talk about something I've wanted to. David Hawley, who's the marshal coordinator for MotoAmerica, and all those corner workers that you see in the white with the orange vests, along with just the MotoAmerica staff, but these guys in the orange that are coming over, David Hawley does instruction for them. They're sort of worked under the guidance of MotoAmerica. They work for MotoAmerica primarily, these corner marshals, and he does instruction for them. So they get out there, they know what's going on, they're well trained and the like. And I would bet you that it was one of those corner marshals who looked and saw that problem with the air fence and radioed. Every corner station obviously is in radio contact or hardline contact with race control, and they're the eyes and ears. I mean, on a road course, race control can't see the whole track, right? And so they're the eyes and ears, and they provide valuable information to the riders, via flags, but also stuff like this. They're trained to look for these little things, and when they do, and they see something, and they radio it up to control here. it can literally be something that has a huge impact on safety in recognizing that. So we just got word it'll be another 5 minutes, and then the pit lane will open again, and we'll get going. So we're going to step away for just a minute, but again, a big shout out to all the volunteers, obviously, that make any event happen, and to these MotoAmerica course marshals and corner marshals. There's something else.
Gear up to get fueled by Mission and get ready to eat like a king. Load those saddlebags with tasty products and fuel your flavor. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
That rocking chair would look great in our new house.
Oh, a new house, eh? Well, you should definitely see how Geico could help you save on homeowners insurance.
Nice tip. I'll give you $2 for the chair.
2? That's a Victorian antique.
All right. How much for the recliner, then?
Wait. How did that get out here? That is definitely not for sale.
Is this a yard sale?
If it's in the yard, then it's for sale.
Here we go.
Geico. It's easy to switch and save on homeowners and renters insurance.
You're looking at live pictures from the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Look at the crowd that is just packed into this 2.238 mile iconic circuit that is buried into the Laguna Seca hillside. A little bit breezy here, as you can see from the flags. And if you are just joining us, we are in a red flag situation. There was an incident in the first start from the Mission Super Hooligans, and a little bit further delay as the air fence is repaid. There are the crowd in the grandstands. Yeah, come on, give us a wave. And the crowds over here, huge crowds pretty much at every single corner around the circuit. Really anticipating a great afternoon of racing here. And of course, for the fans in the paddock as well, they can celebrate with our riders on the podium after each and every race. We are, as I say, looking at live shots. This will be a 5-lap sprint race when it does get underway. Jeremy McWilliams will once again start from pole position. Alongside him will be this guy in here. In fact, he'll be on the outside of row number 1. Sandwiched between them will be Andy Debrino. And in that first start, that first attempt at this 8-lap race, it was Tyler O'Hara, the defending champion, that was sticking like glue to the back of Jeremy McWilliams. Here you can see just some other shots. Great work from Jack Carbone and some of the great images around this circuit. So many fans here, 2 wheels, 4 wheels, trikes. We've got everybody packed into this venue. It's one of the biggest events on the calendar, and a couple of younger fans also enjoying themselves down in the fan zone as well. So this is going to be a 5-lap restart. The motorcycles are now moving along the pit lane. The track is opened. Can Stefano Mesa get the whole shot? He, of course, did that in the first start. There is the lagoon in the middle of the fan zone. Bikes everywhere, and racing action is about to get back underway. Roland Sands and Greg Kramer, you arguably have one of the best seats in the house because you're up there with a great view over the start line. I'm going to stick down here with the fans at the podium and get ready for our podium celebrations. This is going to be a good one.
Well, it is. I mean, essentially, Roland, this has turned into the Super Hooligan version of the King of the Baggers Challenge, a 5-lap sprint race with the original starting grid. So all these guys have it to do all over again. And of course, now with this restart, all eyes will be peeled on that 137, the Energica bike of Stefano Mesa. But you know, this battle at the front with Jeremy and his teammate Tyler, and of course Andy DeBrino, and Pegram faded just a little bit on the start, but still in all, I mean, it's his first time swinging a leg over one of these Super Hooligans and comes out, qualifies top 4. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, Larry has a history of riding on bikes fast.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot of flat track. If you're riding a flat track bike, you really learn to ride around any type of issues, and you learn how to deal with, you know, just really putting it out there as hard as you can, front tire, rear tire, dealing with the traction and making sure that you can take advantage of every ounce that the bike can get back to you. So Larry doing that exact thing on the Super Hooligan bike on the Indian FTR 1200 this weekend.
I think I mentioned to you yesterday that I had the opportunity to call Larry in a car race once. It was his first ever time racing a car at that level, and acquitted himself pretty well there as well. So it doesn't matter. I mean, the guy's just a racer.
His daughter's actually racing Porsche's GT4s.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably where she got the bug. So going to be fun to watch what he can do now after that first start, and what he may have been able to figure out here, if there's anything that he can do to make an adjustment to stay up with that lead group here right now. And getting ready for this one, obviously, you know, that red flag going to help, say, a Mallory Dobbs, who had that off. She'll be able to restart again in that 10th spot. Take a look there. That is the Mission Foods start-finish bridge, dedicated yesterday at the race here. So many capital improvements that the new management here at this track are doing. That bridge part of it, the repaving another part of it here, and then Mission stepping up and getting the naming rights for that bridge. Man, that's pretty cool.
Mission's a fantastic sponsor. They're the head sponsor, lead sponsor of the Mission Super Hooligan Challenge. So, you know, these guys have been fantastic to work with, and they put a lot of money, effort, energy, and attention into road racing in general, but motorsports across the country. And here at Laguna Seca, owning that bridge, man, I looked up there when I got here, and pretty proud of those guys for bringing it. Juan out actually racing his GT3 Porsche this weekend.
Yeah, so he's a huge fan. He's an avid motorsports guy, period, no question. As here we go, off on our warm-up lap. And everybody just tipping it into Andretti hairpin here and checking everything out here. Let's go back through that starting lineup again. Jeremy McWilliams, second clear of the field. Andy DeBrino on the KTM in second. Tyler O'Hara outside of row 1. Larry Pegram inside row 2. Corey West and Stefano Mesa starting in 6th. In the 7th spot, AJ Peasley, I'm not sure he's going to be able to make the restart. Kyle Onsorg in 8th. Mark Price in 9th. Mallory Dobbs in 10th. Hannah Johnson in 11th. And Sean Kriesap in that 12th spot. 13th, Selena Moreta, who is ready to get after it here. We can see that from her attitude. Jordan Eubanks did a great job coming up from the B group up into that spot in qualifying. Hawk Mazada, Eric Stahl, Alex Clark, Mazada and Stahl coming up through that B group as well. Chris Jeffrey and Kenyon Kluge on the second of the e-bikes here. Danny Dominguez, Paul Mitchell, Brandon Quaiden, 23rd, 24th, Josh Nichols, and then in the 25th spot, Devin McLaughlin. In the 26th, Jesse Davis also coming up from the B group in their qualifying session. So a few guys there doing a really stellar job in that B group, particularly Hawk and Eric Stahl, who got right up into that along with Jordan Eubanks. I mean, right up there in the top 15.
Yeah. I mean, quite a few guys came through it from that second session, first session. So they were trying to figure out and sort out who was going to be quicker and sort them out in the different sessions. But, you know, great thing this weekend. Some of the guys didn't make this main race. I think they only grid up. What are we gridding here?
26.
26, yeah. So the rest of the guys pushed to that B main, but gives them an opportunity to get to race tomorrow. You know, you come out here, you put the effort in, you want to race. And
they'll put on an equally good show. May not be quite as quick here, but it'll be a great show for this huge group of fans that have come out here. So it'll be equally entertaining. But all right. We are getting ready to go, and apparently a couple of penalties for speeding in the pit lane. One of them, the 73, so a speeding in the pit lane penalty. That's Pegram. Oh, my goodness.
He should know better. Yeah. Come on, Larry.
Unbelievable. Well, all he can do now is just ride like the wind, so to speak, and get up as far as he can, because it'll be a time penalty, I'm sure. And just got to do it. All right, grid is clear. That's what that green flag signifies. Once again, we're waiting for those lights to come on. There they are. We're green once again. Mesa looked like he got another tremendous start to the inside. Squeezed, still coming up. And finally, it was McWilliams who eased over and sort of shut the door and able to hang on to it. But again, Tyler's going to work the outside. Tyler O'Hare side by side again, those two Indian teammates. And it is going to be McWilliams with just enough. And somebody running a little bit wide was able to hang on to it. And Stefano Mesa sitting in that 5th spot here. And DeBrino, a much better launch this time and able to stay right with Tyler O'Hare. But look at Jeremy McWilliams, man. It's just, he's not to be denied here, it almost feels like.
No, absolutely not. We got Corey West on the first Harley Davidson in 4th place. He happened to slot up in between the two guys that are behind him, Stefano Mesa and Larry Pegram. So now we're seeing a Harley, KTM, Indian scrap at the front. So
pretty good one. And you know, for a minute there, we had an Energica in there again as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. But McWilliams opening it up just a little bit. DeBrino taking a look at the inside of Tyler up into the corkscrew. O'Hara covered that, and DeBrino wisely just tucked back in again. Here's Corey, and there is the 73 of Pegram. And you know, he's got that penalty that he's going to be dealing with here, and he's also going to be dealing with right now Stefano Mesa as they head down. But this sort of a little breakaway here, this lead group of 4.
Yeah, Andy taking a look up the inside of Tyler O'Hare. You know, it's the question is that KTM going to be able to hang with these Indians? And now looks like Corey West maybe made a couple tweaks as well, because he's not losing so much ground. I think he was in 7th in the first start, so they might have made some nice tweaks on the bike in order to get him up to speed.
And DeBrino was tucked right up underneath O'Hara there, and I thought he might try and pop to the inside and do something. Elected to just stay put, and maybe did not want to show his hand quite that soon here. But that kind of pressure has got Tyler now reeling in again, Jeremy McWilliams. But Jeremy is just really strong out of turn 3 into turn 4 here. He just opens that gap up again.
He's using all of the racetrack as well. You can really see him using all the curbing.
Yep.
He's such a consistent rider, and he knows how to take advantage of what the bike can offer.
Yeah.
On every inch of the racetrack.
Well, it's just so much experience there. Still has great pace, obviously, but you know, you have that level of experience, you're going to be able to do some pretty special stuff. And again, DeBrino getting a run. I don't think it's quite enough up the hill here, and decides he has to just sort of hunker in once again as they drop through the corkscrew. And this is where we heard the interview with Michael Hill, where Jeremy said, yeah, I got to be a little bit better down through that corkscrew. And looks like he may have figured it out. But look at DeBrino now. Ooh, again, I thought he might try and surprise Tyler down to the inside. Tyler looks back, and DeBrino got a run there, but not quite enough. Turn 11, easily the best overtaking area on this track. But you got to get exit at 10 right to make that happen.
Absolutely. I mean,
man, he's there.
Every corner on this racetrack is like a setup for the next. You know, it's you really got to get it right in order to set up a pass. And it's what
the corners are really connected.
It's what Corey's trying to do, or what Andy's trying to do right now, which is gain a little bit of momentum through these flat inner corners, turn 3 and turn 4, to get set up. Maybe they're going to put a pass in on the corkscrew.
That's where Jeremy is so good. He's fast lap of 130.658, and he is just really stout. Exited 2 through 3, and a big moment by Tyler. Just managed to save it, but he's going to lose at least 2 spots here. Gathers it back up, but DeBrino goes by, Corey West goes by, and that was a sketch moment.
What a moment. What a moment for Tyler O'Hara on the front tire. Maybe he's grabbed a little bit too much front brake going into 5.
Well, he's feeling the pressure, obviously, from DeBrino, and hustling it uphill. Let's watch it again.
Yeah, this new track. So the rear came around a little bit, and they tucked the front a little bit going in. This new track surface, you know, takes a little bit of adjustment on the front brake. I hear a lot of the riders talking about the front tire sliding going into like 11 and going up in the corkscrew.
Well, you know, there's a lot of grip, a lot of people say, but then it isn't predictive when it lets go. is kind of what's going on. So, you know, some people have described it as a lot of grip but a vague feel to it.
Yeah.
So let's see now. Pegram getting a really good run on the back of Tyler here. Is he going to be able to do anything? And not quite close enough.
You know, sometimes you have a moment like that and it definitely affects your head. You're thinking, oh, am I going to be able to get in there like that next time?
Yeah.
You definitely, it definitely scares you when you get it wrong like that.
Exactly.
Back comes around. We saw Bobby Fong on the back, where we saw him coming up in the corkscrew in the back tire, letting go and flicking him on the ground, you know?
Yeah. Just, you know, another one of those really sudden things here. Meanwhile, McWilliams now up by 3/10 over DeBrino. Then they've got a chunk of time now back to Corey West, about a second and a half to Corey. There they are, and DeBrino is now all over the back of McWilliams. He's looking to the outside. Oh, not quite enough there to make that work, but up into the corkscrew once again. DeBrino is there, and McWilliams, little tighter entry. DeBrino, oh, I thought he might try. I've seen some crazy passes over the years in the corkscrew, but outside there, that would have been incredibly brave.
Yeah, he would have had to force that one to happen. But it looked like Jeremy maybe gave him a little bit of room as well.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if you know, sometimes you can feel the guy behind you pushing you, and you know, you kind of feel it coming, so give him a little bit of space. But I don't think Jeremy's going to let that happen on the last lap. No, not at all. And he looks back, knows he's right there, and here we go. One lap to go here for the Roland Sands Design Mission Foods Super Hooligan National Championship. First of 2 A mains here. And again, DeBrino rolling a little wider line. And this is where McWilliams usually gaps everybody. But look at that, DeBrino hanging right with him. And even maybe able to maintain a little tighter line. You got to wonder if Jeremy knows it's Andy. He might think it's Tyler.
Yeah, that's right. When you look back, I don't know, it was a pretty quick glance. He just knows somebody's there. I don't think it matters because Tyler would fight him as hard as Andy does. So, but look at that line by DeBrino swinging the outside, and McWilliams covers it. Boy, that was a great move through 5 to get right up and in there. And now again, he's alongside, and again McWilliams covers him up into the corkscrew. Last time McWilliams protecting once again. DeBrino going forward on the inside again. Oh, that was so close to either success or disaster, and he finally backed out of it. But obviously he thought that was his shot, because it's going to take something special now for him to be close enough down into 11. But man, he rolls some speed out of 10. Does he just dive for the apex and go hard in the brakes? No, he doesn't. He's going to try and round him up, get on the throttle. McWilliams covers on a slide by McWilliams. That's a loss of momentum. It is a run to the flag, and the Indian just enough. McWilliams finally earning his first win for Super Hooligans. And DeBrino, what a scrap, man. Absolutely breathtaking stuff. And DeBrino, as a colleague of mine would say, watching those attempts as Stefano Mesa comes through, 6th place finish here. Not too shabby for the Energica e-bike. Clearly Andy DeBrino, as a colleague of mine would say, has large attachments.
What a finish.
Wow. Incredible.
What a finish. That was a nail biter.
Oh, yeah, let's revisit this here.
I'm there, both on the edge.
Yeah. And DeBrino just rolling, because he had that outer, that wider arc, and then that little bobble.
That little slide, but you know, the power of that Indian FTR 1200 is pretty obvious coming out of that last turn 11. Oh yeah, they're both on the limit.
And it takes us right to the checkered flag, and as you said, that Indian just a little bit too much grunt there, and was able to come down and take that win over Andy DeBrino. The margin of victory, folks, 71/1000ths of a second here in Super Hooligans.
We got Indian, we got KTM, and Harley Davidson in the top 3.
Mission Super Hooligan National Championship coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Roland Sands Design, built for the ride. Go to RolandSands.com.
Well, Jeremy McWilliams is going to be loving this one. He's wanted it, he's waited for it, and he was not to be denied. But man, did Andy DeBrino make it tough. And as you said, 3 different brands on the podium, and Energica e-bike in the top 6. Pretty decent day here for the Roland Sands Designs Mission Super Hooligan National Championship. There you see the results. And Larry Pegram, he had that penalty, but I don't know exactly what that's going to be. I don't think that's been factored in yet. Then Tyler O'Hara, Stefano Mesa, Mark Price, Sean Kriesap, and how about Shalina Moreta? Nice ride by Shalina into the top 10 on the Ducati Hyper Motard, doing a really nice job out there. But after Tyler had that little bit of a moment, it really turned into a mano-a-mano race between DeBrino and McWilliams, and man, did they put on a show.
Well, Tyler actually fell back behind Larry as well, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that Tyler had quite a bit of an advantage earlier, but what a great top 3 today. We've got Indy and we got Harley Davidson, we got KTM. On the podium, this is what Super Hooligan racing is all about.
Exactly.
We want to see different brands scrapping. Jeremy McWilliams taking a well-deserved win after such a tough result at the Ridge, losing his win there. And just big congratulations to Jeremy. He has earned this one.
He certainly has, and a 71 1/1000ths of a second margin of victory between those 2 different brands. I had to tell you, folks, I wish you could see the smile on Roland's face here. He is absolutely lit about this race and the promise here of the Super Hooligan National Championship Series. It's podium time. That means Michael Hill.
Yeah, thanks, guys. The 3 riders on the podium just coming down here, Andy DeBrino and Jeremy McWilliams just embracing. And again, it's quite a party going on down here. Let's see if we can just interrupt and have a quick word with Jeremy McWilliams. What about it here at WeatherTech Raceway? Make some noise for your race winner, Jeremy McWilliams. Jeremy, the smile says it all. You were on the limit there, some real pressure, but that's got to feel good.
I needed that. I really needed it after the Ridge, and you know, even whenever it's kind of going against you in the race, and it was a struggle near the end of the race, having to restart, that really made a mess up with my tire for some reason. And I didn't think I could hang on to it, so I'm really chuffed to be able to hang on to that.
Excellent stuff. Good job, Jeremy. Let me move around then and speak to our second place finisher. Keep that applause going for Andy DeBrino. Big smiles for Andy, and tell you what, Andy, you can rest easy for a couple of hours before you have to go back on track. You didn't leave anything on the line there. You gave that everything.
I did. You know, the first start of the race, I had a good pace going, and I was kind of bummed it got red flagged, but on that restart, the pace seemed a little slower, and I seemed to feel a little faster, and I could see Jeremy wiggling around, and the blood was in the water, and I was hungry, so I was giving everything I had. I had a few moments trying to run around the outside of him here and there, but man, the KTM was working really good. Down a few cc's, and I could notice it a little bit, but I'm just pumped. The bikes seem pretty equal, and it's amazing to finally get to battle Jeremy. I feel like I haven't really got to proper battle him before like that, so to me, this feels like a win. I'm super pumped to be on the podium with him. He's a world-class guy, and can't thank my team enough. My dad, my girlfriend, my sponsors, KTM USA, EDR Performance, Competition Works, Bellissimoto, Motul, Dunlop. There's a bunch of them. I'm just pumped to be on the podium here at Laguna.
He's a happy chappy, that's for sure. Let's move across then and speak to our third place finisher, Corey West, equally with a big smile on his face and a thoroughly well-deserved podium. Good job.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's, you know, we came out swinging yesterday and then ended up having a bit of a get-off on the bagger, which was unfortunate, and kind of dinged the confidence a little bit, you know, but getting that red flag, it definitely kind of motivated me to get a better start and get up there, and that's exactly what I did. So put my head down, and I saw T.O. had a bit of an issue, and that put me into third, and I just rode the snot out of it. But big shout out to the Saddlemen guys. They bust their butts to keep me out here racing, and Mission Foods, G-Brakes, everyone that's helping us out this year. It's just really awesome. I'm happy to be up here again. HD Pan America, baby. We got this Harley on the box again.
Yeah, good job. Riding the snot out of it. Never heard that one before. I might have to steal that for some future commentary. Let's get a quick word then with Hawk Mazzona, who was the top rider in the V-Twin Air-Cooled Challenge. And another solid ride for you. Top in the Air-Cooled Stakes and solid points overall as well. Good job.
Thanks very much. Just a big thank you to Lloyd's Garage and Roland Sands for putting me on this Indian Chief. This thing has gone 3 years in a row. Motor hasn't been touched, so we're just fingers crossed she can keep on trucking. And just, this is my hometown, thanks to the Monterey crew and my family. I got my wife, my baby, had my son here Thursday. It's epic. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And back to you boys upstairs.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet young Wayden, his son, who was acting as crew chief on Thursday, and what a great kid. Not a surprise, because Hawkmazada is a pretty cool guy as well. Speaking of cool guys, how about that there? Jeremy McWilliams getting that win finally, and absolutely stoked about that. So he's going to enjoy this moment immensely. It's about time for the trophy presentations on the podium, and we're going to step away for just a moment. We've got Revit Twins Cup coming up.
Introducing the new Suzuki GSX 8S. Sleek and stylish, the 8S is putting the streets on notice.